name is Bill Akin, and this is my 9th time to the Hot Rod Reunion, and it's my one time a year, won't miss event. I enjoy it a great deal, and all my friends come, and we have a big time up here looking at cars, prowling through the swap meet, and just having a big time in general. This is a 1970 Bernie Cedoz built championship dirt car, built for running on the mile track. It's part of the United States Auto Club Championship Trail, and it raced at places like DuQuoin, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, and dirt mile at the fairgrounds at Indianapolis, and driven by a gentleman named Carl Bussin. Raced about 5 or 6 times during those 2 years, and the car would have had to been severely changed to comply with new rules for '72, and the guy put it away, and he finally passed away, and his son pulled the car out of the shed and sold it to me, and I've left it in original condition pretty much, except I got it running and safe to drive, and have driven it on the mile dirt track at DuQuoin, Illinois, and plan to do so again. I just had a general interest in old Indianapolis race cars and championship cars in general, and would have probably been an Indy car mechanic or builder if I'd have grown up in either Indianapolis or LA. And I love the hot rods and got several, but also love the old race cars, and I find them when I can and buy them, and sometimes I restore them, and sometimes I leave them original like this car. This is just the way it came out of the barn, and that's gotten to be a kind of big deal of leaving stuff in original condition, and you can always restore it later, but something's only original one time. So I've chosen to leave it this way for the time being. I can always restore it later if I choose to do so. This is the original engine, small block Chevrolet, 302 cubic inches. It was 5 liter, and that was kind of the power of choice at that time for these cars. There were a lot of these cars that ran with small block Chevys in them. That's a Hilburn mechanical fuel injection system. The car burns alcohol, burns methanol fuel. It's got a Vertex magneto for an ignition system. The cars would usually have, on a dirt track that was really loose and the dirt was really flying, they'd have to have a screen over the grill to keep dirt from the track from coming back and clogging up the radiator and keeping it from getting full of dirt and obviously overheating very badly. These cars need to keep moving at a 50 to 60 mile an hour clip to get enough air through the radiator, because obviously it doesn't have a fan and doesn't have a battery, so you have to start it with a remote battery pack. And if you get out somewhere and kill the engine, you know, you got to wait till the guy gets there with a little red wagon with the batteries in it. Has a dry sump oiling system to where the oil is pumped out of the pan as it accumulates to an oil tank that's under the seat of the car, and then it's sucked back into a pressure pump that feeds the engine in a more or less conventional manner. And the reason for that was as many G-forces as these cars would get on them in the corner, all the oil would slide up on one side of the oil pan. You wouldn't have any oil in it. Since you got about 4 gallons of oil in a tank under the seat, then it has plenty of capacity and is unaffected by left turns. Well, you don't shift gears. You put it in gear and you take off, and it just has high gear. And when you let out on that clutch with it in gear, you better be ready to start steering, because it's going to take off on you.
So basically it's a 2-speed trans?
One.
1 speed.
High gear, and that's all.
High gear and that's all.
The alcohol only has about half as much energy per pound as gasoline, so it takes twice as much. And so you had the 100-mile dirt races were run continuously, so the car had to have enough fuel on board to run 100 miles. And it burns the alcohol at a pretty heavy clip, so it takes a whole lot. It takes twice as much as it does for gasoline. The cars would run the dirt miles with about 100-mile-an-hour lap average on dirt on a mile. I'm not sure what the top speed at the end of the straightaway was on the car, but that 100-mile-an-hour lap average was pretty good lap average. Some faster, obviously, some slower, but that's a pretty good average.